Well, like so many of the interactions with the Lord Jesus Christ, what he's doing is cutting to the chase of this man's sin. He's pointing at him, he's looking at him, and he's effectively saying to him, you're asking me about the wrong thing. This is not your greatest need. This is not the most pressing need that you have. Instead, you need to, as he now turns to the whole crowd, verse 15, and addresses them all, he says, take heed and beware of covetousness. In the book of James, we're told that you have not because you ask not. I'm talking about prayer. But you have not because you ask amiss to spend it on your lusts and desires. Not everything you ask in sort of the form of a prayer is actually received by God as a prayer. When we ask for sin, when we ask to be able to do sin, God doesn't receive that as a prayer that he's going to answer with anything except you're not really praying. We'll get to that more in just a moment, but notice what Jesus says. He never really answers the question. But he says you need to beware and take heed of covetousness. This man was asking out of a sinful desire. I want you to think about the Ten Commandments for a moment. And think about those commandments that we always talk about as our relationship to man. The Ten Commandments, starting with number 5, to honor your father and mother. Now that's a positively stated commandment and something that we are supposed to do and we're commanded to do, to honor father and mother. But then you start getting into the commandments that are pretty easy to sort of check off, right? Tell the truth. I'm going to get them out of order. I always reverse the order, so I apologize ahead of time. But let's hope I didn't write them down, so hopefully I can remember them on the spot. There's a lot of pressure. But you need to tell the truth. Don't bear false witness. Don't murder. Don't steal. Don't commit adultery. There, I did it. I got all 4 out of order, but I got the 4 that I was going for. And you think about all of those, and obviously there's an actual act that's being forbidden, and it's very easy to sort of just check the box. I've never killed anybody. I've never stolen anything from the store. I tell the truth. Now that's usually one we say. I tell the truth most of the time. I haven't committed adultery. The Apostle Paul says it's that 10th commandment, though, that really gets us. Thou shalt not covet. And to summarize, anything that is your neighbor. What do you see when you see your neighbor driving the car that you want? What do you see when you see your neighbor getting the roof that you want? You can tell I've been shopping for a roof, right? What do you see when you see somebody have the thing that you want? Well, in our sin nature, in our human pride, we look at that and say, that should be mine. That's covetousness. Now, sometimes we can look at that, and Dave Ramsey would say, you need to remember, more than likely the car your neighbor's driving that you really wanted but couldn't afford, they couldn't afford it either. The most successful, financially speaking, division of every motor car company is their finance division. They don't make their money selling cars anymore. They make their money selling loans on the cars and through interest and those things. And that's one way to look at it. But another way to look at it too, a more biblical way in a lot of ways, is to just look at that and rejoice with those who rejoice. To look at that and be glad that your older brother got the present that you didn't get. Right? That's actually the way that we should look at this. Look at the way and process this thing. Because Jesus tells us we need to take heed. We need to beware of covetousness. Because that sinful desire pulls our eyes away from Jesus. Covetousness is a form of idolatry which says, I need this thing in order to be a real person. I need this thing in order for my life to have meaning.